Jeremy, thank you very much. We're inside the convention center here in Indianapolis for the Combine. We are back. The Combine is back. I also welcome back Ryan Wilson. And for the first time today, Pete Prisco. Pete, I want to ask you, can you remember your first Combine roughly 30 years ago and how it's evolved and different today?
Well, yeah, it was actually, there's a hotel next door connected to the convention. Well, the convention center wasn't even here, where they had the media availability in the lobby of the hotel room. So think about this. There were probably 10 to 12, 15 writers, no TV stations, and they'd bring the prospects down from their rooms into the lobby so you could sit and talk to them one-on-one even. It was just amazing. It was so different. It wasn't what it has become. Obviously, all the team sites are here, all the media is here, and it was just a simpler time. Not that I preferred it that way. I mean, I remember running down the street after Steve McNair back in the day, trying to get him to comment on whether he might be the quarterback of the Jaguars when I was covering the Jaguars. So it's changed in a big way.
Right.
This is my third Combine, Tommy, so not a lot has changed for both you and I who've been doing it in that time. But I have another question for Pete. So I would imagine that the fans weren't a part of the experience then, and it was probably much smaller media-wise. And was it even considered a big deal in terms of the larger fan perspective about, hey, it's the Combine ahead of the draft?
No, and in fact, a lot of the time you had to get numbers and weights and heights and stuff leaked to you because it wasn't available. You couldn't watch the workouts. The only people that watched the workouts were the scouts and everybody else. So no, it's really mushroomed into something much bigger.
All right, of course, we're anticipating the schedule of the prospects and the interviews. They are to come later this week, and of course, the primetime element as well. Pete, we know that Indianapolis has been the home for this event for so many years. There's questions about the future. We've seen the league also move the draft to different places. What do you anticipate the future of the Combine will be?
Well, by the way, I had hair. That's another big difference back in the first Combine. I had a lot of it. No, what's the...
Jeremy liked that one.
Yeah, you do. Well, yeah. No, when you look at this Combine, I think it's moving out of here, and it's a shame that it is. I think this is the ideal city for it. I don't... like cold weather, but I think from the way they handle it with all the walkways and everything, I think it's easy to do. It's a great place for the Combine. But we know how the NFL is. They're going to open this up to bidding. They're going to get cities involved, and they're all going to end up moving it around eventually. I think Las Vegas or Los Angeles are probably the two leading options to have the Combine.
One more thing, we'll button things up before we move on. Ryan, what do you think about what we had as recently as last week of a bubble, a protest, almost not having the players and their agents here, but they are here in full go?
I think it's great that the players and the agents were able to push back and get the NFL to change their minds, because it was a weird situation that they were talking about putting these guys into a bubble, because it wasn't a year ago, Tommy. Things seem to be clearing up in terms of the mask mandates, and especially here in Indiana. So I thought it made sense for these players who have been spending the last 4, 5, 6 weeks at their facilities training, and they have a process where they go work out with their therapist, where they work out with their masseuse, and they couldn't do that this week. Felt sort of weird, so I'm glad that they were able to switch that up and allow these players an opportunity to do the things that you're accustomed to doing, because at the end of the day, this is a television product, and if the product isn't there for TV, what are we doing?
And by the way, they had a draft last year. The rookies played pretty well. You don't need this. The only thing you need this for is medicals. That's right. The major thing about the Combine is medicals. Everybody gets the medicals, but you don't need this. This is paralysis by analysis. I've always felt that. You get so enamored. Oh, what he run? What he run? Well, what's he run on the tape? That's the most important thing. So they drafted well last year. I thought Micah Parsons was great. He didn't play for 2 years. Yeah. He didn't go to a Combine, and so I don't think you need this from a football standpoint. You need.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.